Welcome to Nomad Media, Automotive Tales, where we tell vehicle stories, a little bit of history, and some unique and personal experiences. Let's get right into it. So for today, we have Landon Hornbuckle here with his 1971 GMC C-35 with a dump bed. Like, man, I tell you, I met you a while back here at a park house in town. Like, now we're actually working, like, you wanted to talk cars with me and stuff. I was in the Charger that day. Now you're helping me work on a different vehicle project of mine, you know, still to be seen. But, you know, and so I knew you had this, and I saw, honestly, I think the first time I saw it was up at the local cruise in, and I didn't know exactly what I was looking at here, but it's such an amalgamation of parts, but it works. It works great too. You know, it gets you from point A to point B. How about you tell us some of the history on this truck here?
So, like I said, we met at the parts store, and we just became friends. I don't even think it was really running or driving at that point in time, but I got it from my grandpa. He's a roofer for trade. He's been one all of his life, and when I got it, he used it. I think he told me he bought it in mid-'80s, so he'd have bought it after a couple years of it, a couple years old, and he bought it from some farmer that he knew or met something, and he started using it as a work truck, as putting shingles and, you know, hauling his shingles with it. I mean, when I got it out of the trees and weeds, it was this is a pretty heavy load to make this thing squat, and but it was squatted almost all the way down with as much metal and tin and wood. Just, I think he used it as a scrap bin, just off of jobs.
No, he just had another job ready to go. Yeah, all it was, man. Yeah, just stop running on him in the middle of the job.
So I got it. It was, I had to tow it out. I got a tow truck to come get it out. It was, I think it was last tagged in 99 or 2000 when I got it. So, and I got it in 21, late 21, early 22. And I just got it running and really driving this summer, spring, summertime, and just been driving it on and off ever since.
Yep.
And the dump bed's probably what catches people's eye the most, me telling them. I mean, a lot of people like it, and usually I'll have a little toy on the back, a little loader.
I know you didn't bring it today.
I didn't bring it. I
was really disappointed when you didn't have the little loader on it, which hopefully there's a picture out there, and I'm going to try to insert it here if I can, you know.
Yeah, a lot of people love it. I've had people stop me in the middle of the street asking to take pictures with it, and that's that brings me a little joy.
That's a heavy load for most people.
Oh,
they can't believe someone your age is probably pulling that heavy load.
I know. DOT's never stopped me yet. I just outrun them every time. But it's not the best looking vehicle out there, but like I tell everybody, it's a farm truck. We have a farm, and we use it for farm daily.
I know I don't know if it's that same cruise in, but I know I've been to a few cruise ins with you here when you're in this truck. I know there's one of them you showed up and you had like the bed had just feed all over it.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I use it as a farm truck. I mean, I think that day I went to the feed store to get some stuff, and my dad was going to it, and we decided we was just gonna go, and I just drove it on up there. It don't stop me from driving it anywhere.
So how did you actually come about this? I know it was your granddad's truck. Is it something that you knew about? Was it something that was just a family heirloom, or was it something that you just found out about like at the last moment?
So, you know, he's still alive. He's older, but he's still alive. And it's been there, I guess, a better part of my life. I mean, I'm just fixing to turn 19, so it's been there all my life sitting there. But
never thought anything of it?
Yeah, never thought anything. It's just another truck, but I've been getting into trucks and cars a whole lot more lately, and I just asked him one day, and I was like, hey, what are you going to do with it? And he's like, nothing, let it sit there. And I I just asked him, I was like, what can I do to have it? He said, well, if you'll get it running and driving, I'll just let you have it. And so, I mean, here it is running and driving. Like I said, it's set for better part of 20 years. So, had to get a record and come pull it out. It was so encased. Went over there a few times with a chainsaw, get it out of the weeds. So I couldn't haul it with anything. And so we got a record.
Yeah, this is kind of one of those things that's people probably not familiar with having this. This is longer than my car is, most definitely. So
It's
this is like a
it's a 12-foot long bed.
12-foot long bed plus what, 6?
6, 7, 5, somewhere in there.
So I'm gonna say probably at least an 18-foot long vehicle here. That's a big vehicle.
And you gotta think, this is 8 foot wide. The bed's 8 foot wide.
Yeah, so you take up all the road.
Yeah,
and all the vehicle if you're on one.
Yeah, and it's real hard. But if you're in you have to park kind of far away, not because you're scared somebody's going to hit it, just because you're scared you're going to hit somebody.
Yeah.
And so got the record, got it on the record, brought it to my mom's house, and loaded it off. And I just started taking stuff out of it, started breaking it down to get to the truck.
Yeah.
And started with the interior. The interior was gone, just full of a squirrel and rat home.
All sorts of little critters.
Yeah,
running
critters
around.
this has been their hotel for the past 20 years.
So I'm guessing you had some wire repair to do.
Yeah, a tad bit wire repair. To be honest, most of the interior wire, under the dash was never touched. And that's surprising. A lot of the engine wire was, the engine harness. But hardly the underdash was even bitten off of. Not that I know of anything.
Well, count your blessings, man.
I know a lot of people are probably angry at that because they got a truck that's been sitting for 5 years and it's.
I think most people are probably happy for you.
Yeah.
Like, you didn't have to do it. So.
And I hate electrical work too. So.
Well, you did what you had to do.
Yeah,
running those.
Yeah.
So it was like, well, what about because I know it's amalgamation of parts. So go into that a little bit.
So when I got it, it had a, I want to say, I think it was a 305, and it was gone. It blew up. I guess that's why it started sitting, and that's what my grandpa told me. And so,
like I said, it was at a job.
Yeah.
And the truck gave up on it.
Yeah. And so you have to find the motor to get something running. So I went with a 350. Let's have a 98 K2500 with carburetor intake. Nothing really special done to it. Aluminum carburetor intake, Holley 750 carb, and made it up with a SM465 4-speed granny low transmission with a PTO on the side to drive the dump bed.
Yeah, and we're gonna play your dump bed here too. So.
And every old car guy, mostly Chevy guy, knows how bad these 67 372s are about floors being gone through.
Yep.
So I had to create my own patch panels, so I did. And I think it looks pretty awesome. A lot of people think it looks pretty cool. But finding tag plates for a floor is not as easy as you think to find that many.
Yeah, you got to find a lot of them.
Yeah, you got to find a lot
together too.
And a lot of people like how kind of kept the truck mostly original on the outside.
Yeah.
I mean, if you didn't really tell, you'd think the truck's almost all original.
And I'll tell you, the parts that are not original on it tend to be very obviously not original.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
So,
if you pop the hood, you're going to say, oh, wow, that's not original.
Yeah. So let me focus in on one very specific story, your radiator.
Okay, so, all them old copper radiators tend to bust. I mean, it's set forever. And actually, the original one, when I went to wash it out, because I thought, maybe it's good. They built things stronger back then. Actually had never seen this in my life. Had acorns in it.
Okay.
A very powerful squirrel rat that can get stuffed acorns in a radiator. I've never seen. I don't know how they got that many in it.
Well, welcome to the nature preserve.
Yeah.
Here's the thing about squirrels, man. They tend to take their acorns and hide them.
Yeah.
And forget about them.
Yeah, they forgot about 3 million in this truck. And so me and my grandpa, my other grandpa, finished now rebuilding an '81 Chevy square body. and you know he's a stickler for all new things. When we done a frame off on it, and I asked him one day, it was sitting there, and this was good, and I asked him, I was like, hey, what are you gonna do with that radiator? He's like, nothing, scrap it probably, or just keep it up for God knows what. And I was like, well, I'm gonna use it. And he's like, all right. And so I put it in there. It's out of an '81 Chevy, but it fits in there. It's held together with prayers and zip ties.
Prayers, dreams, and zip ties.
Yeah.
Well, man, that's awesome. Thanks for coming out here too. How about we get into hearing this thing run?
Yeah, I'll get into it, and let's see if it'll crank up.
All right. And there you have it. That's Landon Hornbuckle and his 1971 GMC C-35.
Yes, sir.
With a dump bed.
That's the most important part.
That's the most important part, but or probably not. The running is probably the most important part. But dude, thanks for like bringing it out here. I'm glad that like your granddad had it still and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I'm glad you took the time to like get it running and things, because a lot of people wouldn't do it. They'd see it out there, not like it, and especially someone your age. All right.
Yeah,
so,
or see too much work that has to be done.
Yeah, too much work. Let me just go buy something that's done. It's so much easier, instant gratification.
Yeah.
But I'm glad to see that you're working on it. I'm glad to see that you're being innovative with it, like the radiator thing, because that's not very specific to any vehicle. If you can make it work with zip tie.
Yeah.
But dude, let me hand it over to you. Is there anything you'd like to tell the audience?
I'd just like to say thank y'all for coming out and watching, and I don't know, maybe a part 2 somewhere. I get some plans for it in the future, and we'll see where that goes and leads towards.
All right. Hey, I'm definitely going to sit down with you if we get a part 2 here. I know that you got plans for it. I know you got some stuff in the works.
Oh, yeah.
Big plans in the works.
Oh, yeah. So, I don't think some people that know it will recognize it.
Yeah, and I know that you're going to, and I'm going to be around for the whole thing. So it's like, I'm probably going to be helping you at some point. You know, if nothing else, telling you, why the heck are you doing that? Like,
yeah.
But, dude, thanks for coming out. Thanks for talking to me about your truck. And with that, we'll see you in the next one. Peace.
I'll see you at the next car show, okay?
And there you have it, folks. Be sure you like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.